This is a Stock Trading Reality Podcast, episode 86.
Never give up, because this business is very hard. Number two, never stop studying. The more I've learned, the more I've realized that I have much more to learn.
This is the Stock Trading Reality Podcast, where you get to see the realistic side of a trader's journey. Get inspired and stay motivated by everyday normal people who are currently on their journey to trading success. And this is your host, whoever imagined he'd actually have his own line of t-shirts, Clay Trader.
Yeah, I would be totally just in awe. I would probably laugh at you if you said, you know what, Clay, someday you're going to have t-shirts and people are actually going to buy these t-shirts from you. But it has actually happened. There are some Clay Trader t-shirts out there that we sell and that people have bought. Now, it's not like there's millions of dollars of revenue in t-shirts, but heck, I'm shocked that even one t-shirt got sold, let alone, probably the over 100 that we have. And they've gone to some pretty far ways, Guam. They've gone to a couple to Europe. I know a couple to...
some have been on Italy and a lot of crazy places.
Yeah. So it has been pretty crazy. But yeah, kind of just one of those things where when I started all this, I was just like, let's see where the breeze takes us. And the breeze partially took us into there being a little bit of a market for T-shirts. So, and I think we should have like a new T-shirt or a T-shirt contest and try to think of a new little slogan that we can maybe put on a T-shirt. But that remains to be seen. So, Ches, how you doing today? Ches is our co-host, by the way.
I'm doing good. We're proud to announce that ClayTrader.com is pivoting to an apparel company where we're just going to sell zany T-shirts all the time. Clay's face will be on the next one, so be sure to come buy some. Actually,
he lied. We are pivoting to the Speedo market, and my face is going to be on the backside of the Speedo.
No.
That just says risk management and whatever content. No. I'll let you decide whatever that means. So
let your imagination go wild.
Yeah. So, oh man. Sometimes I wonder, Chet, should we really be talking like that? Because for all we know, this is a person's first time listening to us, and we're talking about Speedos. And I promise this is partial. This is somewhat professional. But we just need to hop right in. Today we have quite the. I don't want to build up things too much, but Jez and I had a really good time with it. We are going south of the equator to El Salvador. At least I think El Salvador is south of the equator. But we're going to Central America to talk with DarthRay, as he goes by in the chat room. And he's got a crazy story. And he's only 22, yet everything he's been through, including, I'll offer a little spoiler, being a victim of a Ponzi scheme, like a legitimate one. It's pretty crazy, but a whole ton of valuable lessons. And he's got some really good things going on, too, from just kind of being an entrepreneur also. So I don't want to offer any more spoilers. But, yeah, let's just get started with Darth. Well, hey, Darth, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Now, you go by DarthRay in the chat room, but I'm just going to call you Darth. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, perfect.
All right, excellent. And you are down in El Salvador.
Yeah.
We were talking about that before the podcast. So we are once again going international, and I had to just make sure my geography was okay. El Salvador in Central America, not South America, Central America. So what countries surround you, just for our listeners that may need to brush up on their geography a little bit?
Guatemala and Honduras.
Okay, well, there we go. So English is not Darth's first language, but to be honest, I would never know that because so far so good in regard to the pre-recording chat that we had. I mean, you speak fantastic English, so I'm looking forward to this. And you also gave us a little context that you entered into a trade on the futures market right before we got started. So you're going to be kind of watching that. And, hopefully we don't hear you freaking out or starting to throw tables across the room or I guess if you cuss in Spanish because we're trying to keep this, good and PG for the English audience. But in all seriousness, I appreciate you taking time out of your day. So let's start right at the beginning of it all. What got you interested in the markets and what got you to the point of, wanting to actually, give it a try in terms of putting some of your money on the line?
Okay, so ever since I was little, I was interested in sales and making deals and trading from, I don't know if you know what Yu-Gi-Oh cards are, but I traded a guy 3 of my Yu-Gi-Oh cards for a PlayStation console with 5 games, and that's when I felt the first rush of trading. It was not trading in the markets, but I did my first like sales pitch, and I traded, and it was a huge profit for me, and my dad was very proud about it. So after I started growing up, I went to college. I'm in my last 6 months of college, and I study marketing. And I got a sales management job at my uncle's company, and I worked there for around 1 year. And I hated that my time was his and not mine. So I started Googling for possibilities of jobs where I had my own time, and I found the stock market because my dad sometimes hedges, and he's very interested in the macroeconomics and the economics in worldwide. So I decided to give it a shot in trading. So I downloaded a simulator in my iPad, and I started doing very well. So that's where I started to get hooked.
Now, for context, when were you using that simulator? Was this last year, a couple of years ago?
No, it was like 4 years ago.
Okay, cool. Okay, so you get the simulator. Obviously, your dad's interested. You already have the spirit of kind of sales and, buying low and selling high already, just with, trading those Yu-Gi-Oh cards that you did before. So obviously, you kind of got that personality. You work at your family's job. You don't like that they're, your time is essentially taken up for them, making them money. And you decide that the market is the place that you want to give a try to. So you get this iPad app for kind of pretty much simulated trading. How did everything go in that simulation?
I started buying, I think it was InventSense stocks, and they started to go up because there was this rumor that Samsung and Apple, the iWatch, their chips were going to be in the latest product. So it started to go up. I bought around 10,000 shares, and it started to go up. My account was up around $5,000, and I said, "Oh, this is amazing. You can make money very, very fast." So that's when I started to save up money so I could invest real money. Of course, in the simulator, I had a balance of around $200,000. It was a lot. Yeah, and I didn't know nothing about risk and how to manage my risk. I was just guessing and throwing darts.
And
Yep.
No, go ahead and finish your thought.
I was like trying to read news about what was going on, and yeah, my first buy actually when I had real money was in InventSense because that was the only stock I knew about, and I did a $9 profit and my first ever trade.
With real money, you got a $9 profit. Now, going back to the simulator, what was your strategy to even come up with a trade idea? So you got that first one, which you made $5,000 on. Of course, as we know, that wasn't very realistic. But how did you even come across that at that point in your journey? What was your thought process in terms of how am I going to come up with some sort of trade idea? I assume you weren't looking at the chart at this point or anything like that.
I had a chart, but it wasn't candlesticks. It was like a line chart. So I only saw like the movement live, but I didn't know what was going on. My thought process was, let's read some news, let's read some statements, let's see what the quarters were doing sales wise, and let's enter a position over there. But I didn't know about risk, about reward, about support, resistance. I didn't know nothing about charts.
Okay, so you were just essentially scanning the headlines, looking for some sort of headline that maybe caught your interest. When you would find a headline that caught your interest, you would say, all right, let me look a little bit deeper. So then you'd start to look into, like you said, the quarterly reports and all of that. And that's essentially how you came to the conclusion of, hey, I want to trade this. And then after you got into the trade, sounds like you used the line charts to just kind of track the movement. Is that kind of a fair summary of your quote unquote strategy at the time?
Yeah, that was.
Okay, and I want to we have to circle back to this because you're definitely not the first person to do it, but I feel like it's been a while since we've talked about this topic. But now knowing what you do know, was using a simulator in the amount of $200,000, was that a wise use of your time, or was that maybe a waste of your time? And why do you say that? Not knowing what you know now.
At the time, I thought it was pretty cool, but it was unrealistic because I was not going to start with not even $20,000 in my account. I was going to start with 2,000. So that was like 1% of the account. So basically, I was lying to myself. I wasn't preparing with my real balance with what I was going to start. So it was fake. And also, the first time I used the simulator, since I had no idea what was going on, I don't know how to express this, but I was like lying to myself. I was using the simulator in the wrong way. So that way I wasn't learning and I was getting false confidence.
Now, I know I'm going to jump ahead here to a question we normally ask. If you could go back and do it differently, would you have used the simulator with your actual account balance?
Yeah. After I had taken a lot of blows in my accounts, gotten into sketchy services, I started simulating 6 months ago with my real balance now, and my account doing the things really well, and my account doubled. So now that I think that I'm prepared, I'm trading the real balance with real money, and I decided to do it right. So if I would do it again, I would do it like I did this time.
Awesome. And that's what I kind of wanted to see, because that's how you really reinforce good habits. That's how you practice, to make it worthwhile and not essentially, as Clay likes to call it, kind of wasting your time, because you really are lying to yourself, just like you kind of said. So just wanted to make sure you realized that. And of course you did. So okay. So you do this, you're obviously going to start with $2,000 instead of $200,000. You make a $9 profit. You're trading off of headlines at the time. And you said now that you mentioned that you got into some sketchy services. Were you looking for some kind of buy and sell alert chat rooms after you kind of opened a live account, or did you just get into some sketchy trades? What did your trading look like when you went live?
Okay, when I went live, that was 3 years and a half ago. I was looking for alerts basically. I had a $2,000 account, but I had more in savings. So this guy that trades penny stocks, I don't know if I can say his name.
Go for it.
Timothy Sykes.
Oh, okay. It wouldn't be the first time. So, okay, keep on going. Mr. Penny Stock himself.
Yeah, Mr. Penny Stock. He sold me his millionaire challenge. Yeah.
Oh, really? You bought how much did you pay for that? I have to ask.
It's $5,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll just keep my mouth shut. All right. So you bought his millionaire challenge and you became a millionaire, right?
No.
Oh, shoot.
After getting the challenge, I studied for around a month. My first trade with him, I did a $500 profit on a $2,000 account, so I was pretty hyped. But guess what? Happened the next day.
I'm guessing something didn't quite go your way, and because there's no risk management taught other than broad terms of risk management thrown around, you probably entered something that didn't go your way, and then you didn't know what to do. Is that close?
Exactly. So I was down on a position $600. So that's the 500 from the day before and 100 extra. So I didn't know what to do. And I started tweeting and Googling, and I found this website called stocktweets.com. And it was another website where, a lot of people post nonsense. So after meeting, after I took my first big loss in that trade, I started studying more and more, and I found out that I hated trading penny stocks. It didn't suit my style. It was very fast, very volatile, very illiquid, and it didn't suit me. So I stopped studying his challenge, but I did find a good lesson, and it was to manage my risk and to find my education and not an alert service.
Now, let's talk into, you mentioned the word illiquid. Why was that such a nasty attribute of penny stocks? I mean, go more into that, because a lot of people, when they hear penny stocks, they think, okay, I have a small account, penny stocks move big, therefore it's a great way to grow a small account. But that's just the surface deep. You brought up the fantastic point of, being illiquid. Talk more about that and why it was a problem for you within your, penny stock trading.
Okay, so basically the first thing I didn't like is that I like to place limit orders. And when I place limit orders, I place orders between the bid and the ask. But in penny stocks, 5 cents can be a lot. And if you don't get filled and you get filled in the bid, when you do a market order, you can lose almost all of your profits. So it's a very risky business, trading illiquid stocks. And also, they are very, very easily manipulated when they are illiquid, and big traders like Tim Sykes trades the stock and everyone follows it. It can jump $2 or $3, and it can go against you or for you very, very fast. So that's what I didn't like about the penny stocks.
Generally line the sheep up as they're all slamming to get in the order, and then as they're slamming to get in the order, Timmy's ready to get out of the order, and then bam, that's what happens. It's just an unfortunate cycle, and it's just kind of something that happens in penny stocks. As you said, kind of very risky, very volatile, and like you said, the bid-ask spread, which we cover more in kind of our courses as well. It can pretty much make or break you, especially in the land of penny stocks. So you realize that penny stocks they don't really suit your style. They're just not something for you. Where do you decide to kind of look next? Are you going to look at kind of those bigger names that you were simulated trading a couple of years ago? Are you looking at stock twits at whatever's hot and trending? Where are you going to look for your new kind of it still sounds like you have about 3/4 of your account left. So what are you going to trade with that?
Yeah, I go to I think it was trading schools, and I was or testimonials. I'm not sure. I was looking for services, and I found this winningstockcoach.com, and they said they were the best education in options. So I decided to give it a try, and it was $150 every 3 months. So that's $50 per month. So I get into this chat room, and I meet some nice persons. The coach, the main coach, he seemed nice. The first 2 weeks were amazing. I learned a lot, but then after the time passed, he did this thing called the Millionaire Challenge as well.
Oh, good.
Second time where he said with $1,000 in a year, we would make at least $100,000 doing options in one.
Ches, hold me, but okay. All right, I'm going to bite my tongue. So he's telling you he's going to, in 1 year, you're going to turn $1,000 into $100,000. Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah, correctly. And, at the time I was very naive. I was very greedy. And I decided to fund some more to my account. So now I have a $4,000 account.
Now, let me ask, was this a separate service? So you were paying $150 every 3 months, but if you wanted to do this Millionaire Challenge where you would turn 1,000 into 100,000, was that something separate where you had to pay more money for it?
No, it was in the same service.
Okay, all right. So I'll give this person some credit there. At least they didn't all of a sudden create some totally new service that you had to pay for. But I guess the big marketing tactic there was this will ensure people stay subscribed for the next 12 months, and I can keep getting $150. So I mean, did that happen? Did you turn $1,000 into $100,000 in 12 months?
No, this is what happened. I started with the $4,000 account. By the end of 2 months, it was at 12,000. So I mean, it grew 3 times. It was a lot. But then this guy, he had some kind of hedge fund. I'm not sure. He had some clients, and he had a balance of around $2 million. So this guy, instead of trying to help us, he started saying to buy a specific puts and specific calls. But what we didn't know is that he was selling them to us.
So after a little bit of Google research, I see that first off, the service is now out of business. Just like you said, it looks like supposedly this quote-unquote clown stole about $500,000. He's being investigated for a Ponzi scheme, and the internet claims that he is now delivering pizzas. So obviously somebody who kind of sells you the dream of $1,000 to $100,000. Like you said, you were naive. I totally can see myself kind of buying into this if it was 5 years ago or something like that. But yeah, this is just there's so many thoughts I have to say here, but I know Clay's got some thoughts on this as well, don't you?
Yeah, and this is what I love about this show is, this is truly all unscripted. We just get the call going, a quick little introduction, and then we just start talking. So I had no idea, Darth, that you literally were a part of a service where it was a Ponzi scheme, and now he's being right, Ches? He's being
investigated.
Investigated for a Ponzi scheme, and I mean, wow. So, and this is just, if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. But again, I understand. How old are you?
22.
Okay, so this was happening when you were what, like 20 years old or something?
19.
Okay, so you're young, you don't have a whole lot of experience, and it's not like I'm some guy with 40 years of experience, but I get it like Jess says, but that's actually super crazy. That may be one of the crazier things we've heard in all the... Go ahead,
This is
Jess.
definitely one of the crazier things we've heard because, it's just not only is he trying to sell a pipe dream, and people bought in. There's tons of reviews on kind of this guy's service and how unhappy they are and stuff like that. But at the same time, this guy is literally committing fraud to his clients. Like, you're going to get caught if you do stuff like that. But these wolves essentially live out there in the world. So we hope that at least some of you listeners, like Clay said, if it sounds too good to be true, I can almost promise you 99.9% it is.
And just to circle back to the whole alert service thing, let me ask you as a listener, does this sound too good to be true? You're out on the golf course, just playing 18. Your phone buzzes. Zzz, you pick up the phone and look. Oh, look, I got a text alert from this alert service that I pay $297 to every 3 months. Oh, they say I should buy this. Buy. Okay, put your phone back in your pocket. And you go 3 rounds. Zzz, your phone goes again. Oh, look, it says I should now sell. Let me go sell real quick from my phone app. Boom, sold. Hey, I just made $400 while I'm golfing. I'm so glad that this alert service exists. If that sounds a little too good to be true, it definitely is. Alert services do not work. Before you go and say, what are you talking about, Clay? You have a chat room. We do not do any buy and sell signals. You will never see. In fact, it's against the rules to say buy here or I bought here or anything like that. You say an alert, you alert a setup, but then we as traders need to determine if we want to play the setup and how we want to play the setup based on our personal risk tolerance. And that's how trading is. That's what a real and I'm not saying we're the only chat room that does that, but any of these people out here that have picks or, buy and sell signals and all that sort of crap, that's just not how the market works because it creates a game of musical chairs. The person who leads the chat room, yeah, they're going to buy it, let's just say $85. And then they're going to alert, I just bought it $85. And then a bunch of people buy, and all of a sudden it's up at $85.50. Well, hey, that's great for the person that bought at $85 because they can sell for $85.50. Then they can go post the results online. Hey, I just made 50 cents on this share. Well, yeah, you did, but that's because there was a bunch of headless sheep that followed you. So I don't know. I'm done ranting. It's been a while though since we've had a good rant here at Ches. So just stay away from the buy and sell services. And no, this is not a sales pitch for our chat room because I'm sure there's other chat rooms out there that just talk about alerts in general. And if you're sitting there saying, well, I don't want to do an alert and you're not going to tell me how to play it, I have to determine how I want to play it. That's too much work. Well, then go to Las Vegas because unfortunately trading is work. So anyways, Darth, wow. Darth, we blame Darth. He sent us off on this rant because
we love going
crazy.
on rants, but this is literally one of the crazier stories we've heard for sure.
So, did you stay in the market or were you just like super jaded? Were you just disgusted? Or, what did you do after, your account basically got hammered working with this guy?
Okay, so at first, it grew to 12,000, but then when he was selling us the puts and the calls and the market was going the wrong way, I knew something was going on. And he closed the service, so I said, okay, it's time for me to learn more, to educate myself. I don't need much to make a living here in El Salvador. Everything is quite cheap, and I said I need to educate myself. So I decided to buy the Clay Trader University course.
Okay, so you were with that service then for a while then. And
Yeah, 6 or 7 months. I did learn a lot though. The guy was very good at educating, but what we didn't know is that he was using the education and his knowledge with us, and it benefited him and not us.
yes, he was teaching you a way that he could take advantage of. That's
Exactly.
wow.
So, in a way, now that I see it, 3 years from now or 2 years from now, I learned how not to do how can I say this?
How not to trade is what you learn. It sounds like, right?
Yeah,
Essentially, even though it was a bad experience, you totally figured out what to take from it. So instead of being super jaded, like a lot of people would be, I myself personally would probably be like, this whole game is rigged, forget this, I'm done. You actually found kind of the little shininess of the whole thing in the sense of now you know what red flags look like. And I know you said your account was at 12,000 before kind of he was kind of doing this deceitful tactics. What was your account at, if you don't mind kind of telling us when you did actually leave the service? How bad did it get hammered from 12,000?
It blew my account.
Okay.
It zero. But the balance was like 1,000, but
Gotcha. Either way, so pretty much all the gains that you were able to kind of get for those 6-7 months, he was able to pretty much rope them back from you, which is a crying shame, to be honest. It actually kind of upsets me a lot that this kind of was able to exist for as long as it did. But anyways, before I go on my own separate rant here, so you decide to you know what red flags look like now. You're going to resave money. You know what your cost of living is. So obviously you know what you need to kind of make per day. You join Clay Trader University right away. I guess let's just pick it up from there.
Okay, so I took a year off the markets because it really affected me, and I'm a kind of emotional guy. So I said I need a break, and I decided to work I had the same job as I had with my uncle. The difference was now that I had my own time and I was my own boss. Because in the office that I was working, my boss told me, you do your own time and you will be paid in commissions and a basic salary. So I decided to take a break from the markets, 6 months knowing nothing about the markets. And then I started to learn the lessons. I took the robotic trading, the second course of robotic trading. Then I took the risk versus reward, and I took the learning the level 2, and I finished last week the shorting for profits. And I'm taking now the volcano trading. I started it yesterday. So in the meantime, I was trading. I've been learning a lot about shorting and breakouts and my risk versus reward. So I started using the simulator with $25,000 in an equity account and $25,000 in a futures account for 6 months. And both the accounts were at 50,000 6 months later. So that's when I decided to fund my account and started trading again. So this is like, I'm talking about the present right now.
I got to ask you real quick. Are you still in your short position?
Yeah, I'm still in my short.
It's going your way now, though, right?
A little bit. I shorted at almost at the low. I shorted at 2142.75.
Okay, because I'm not watching the ES, which is the futures market. I'm just watching the SPY, and SPY was rolling over a little bit, so I was assuming yours might be looking a little bit better. But anyways, we'll keep touching in with that trade. So,
okay.
I mean, how has traded? Let me ask this, because you said you opened up an options, or you had an options simulator and then an equities simulator. Did I understand that right?
A futures and an equity.
Oh, futures. Excuse me. So, are you trading only futures right now, or are you trading futures and equities? What does your kind of actual breakdown look like in terms of the vehicles you're using?
Okay, right now I only have a real money futures account, but the equities was approved finally today. So I'm going to pass all of my funds to the equities because I prefer to trade equities than futures because futures are highly leveraged. And as I already have my risk tolerance, but the futures can move very fast and stop you up very fast. So I rather trade equities because I like to think stuff, process, and take my time. And futures don't give me that time to think.
Futures are definitely a fast-moving game, and you can really get burned. And I'm talking, and this isn't to scare people away from them because they are a great vehicle for certain people, but you can really get hosed in like the matter of minutes, like to the tune of thousands of dollars. It's just kind of the way the leverage is built in. And that's, like I said, not to scare people. For those who are very quick or feel very comfortable and kind of know what they're doing, it can be a great way to do it. But at the same time, Darth is not, I'm not going to say that you're kind of a professional by any means, but you've been doing this for a couple of years. And obviously, I totally commend the fact that you know what you're comfortable with and you're totally okay saying, I'd rather go trade equities. So when you say your equities account, I know you had an extensive time trading options. Are you going to trade options with that account, or are you just going to try scalping shares? What's your kind of game plan from here since you're going to be moving your funds?
Okay, so before I talk about that, I forgot to say, in the process of those 6 months, I got a contract with a firm in Chicago, and I'm gonna open up the first Latin American futures introducing broker.
Cool. That's awesome. That's really awesome. Yeah. That's like really cool.
Yeah,
that
definitely caught us off guard again because I had no idea about that, and I don't. If you did ever mention that in the chat room, I never saw it. So yeah, well, congratulations. That's cool. So yeah, tell us more.
Okay, thank you very much. So I thought I wasn't good at trading, but I had a passion for the markets. So I said, how can I make money involving the markets? And I was applying for a job at a broker, and they were in Bahamas. They're called Trade Zero. They are zero trading commissions. They charge nothing in commissions. So they were gonna give me the franchise in Latin America for the broker firm, and I went to Bahamas and I went to meet them, but unfortunately the deal didn't go as planned. So I came back to my country and I contacted this other firm that I'm not sure I can give the name yet. Because we're still in the legal talks.
Yeah, better not give the name then.
Yeah, but everything worked out, and now I'm gonna set up this business, and I'm gonna be the first Latin American brokers firm for futures for people in Latin America who want to trade futures in the USA. So it's an achievement that I'm very proud about. And I earned it because I've been studying, I've been working a lot, and yeah, so that's the story that I wanted to tell you guys, that if I thought that I wasn't a good trader and I got this opportunity, but now that I'm thriving as a trader and having these other entrepreneurial projects, I feel proud of the progress that I made and the mistakes of the last four years. Maybe some people would have quit the market, but for me, it was a lesson that had to be learned.
No, absolutely. And I think that's more than a fair assumption that a lot of people would have quit the markets. But you didn't. Now, my only question is, so when these people, in Latin America are, hey, I want to learn how to trade, with charts or whatever, are you going to refer them to that one options coach guy? Or, who are you going to refer those people to?
I'm gonna tell them go to the chart master. The Clay Trader group is everything anyone has to be looking for.
Awesome. Well, Chezit, we may be getting some traffic from Latin America here, it sounds like.
I'm just gonna tell them to buy the dip, and my service is half the cost. So no big deal. Just always buy the dip.
Yeah, exactly. Or just keep going, keep shorting or keep going long. It'll eventually go in your favor. So, are you allowed to give any sort? I know, like you said, you're in the legal time frame, but legal paperwork. Is this something that you hope to have open and running by the end of the year, within the next couple of months? What exactly does the time frame look like?
Yeah, I think by December, it will be open.
So it's
for trading. Yeah.
So it's coming pretty quick then. So that's. That's great, man. I did not expect or anything like that. So a lot of good prizes, or surprises, I should say, in this one. But let's kind of talk more so about just some issues that we talk about almost every episode. But Losses, I mean, losses are part of trading. You've suffered some losses, when you were first getting started. You still obviously lose right now because there is no such thing as a perfect trader. So how do you view losses compared to, back then when you first got started to now? How do you view losses, and, kind of how do you mentally deal with them?
Well, the losses sometimes can get to me. Of course, they can get to me, but one loss, I can lose up to 3 or 4 times, but if I get one winning trade, it makes up for those 4, and it gives me an extra profit. So I don't worry about the losers. I only focus on the winners. Also, when I started being very profitable, what I did was that I planned my trades at night. I would do my charts at night, so that way in the day when the things happened, I didn't have to think. I only had to react. And sometimes people, when they get in the market, they think too much and do the wrong things. But when the market is off and they do a very good reasoning, that is where they have to put their points in the charts. So when the market opens, they only have to react. At least that worked a lot for me.
Yeah, your thought process can be drastically different, when the live market's unfolding in front of you versus when you have kind of no position, you're flat at the end of the day, you're looking at the charts reasonably, you're not saying, oh, this is going to go to the moon or this is going to completely tank. You're going to drop your charts, mock them up, and yeah, it's a drastically different time when the market is closed versus when it is open. So I really like you hearing that. So I know obviously we kind of steered around and found out that, you're opening that introducing broker, which is totally awesome. And I totally commend kind of the spirit of business in you and kind of being in the market no matter which way it is. But, I want to touch back on why you're kind of heading over to equities. I know you said that it fits you, it suits you better. Are you still going to trade options or are you going to scalp stock? What's your plan for that?
Okay, so I don't like scalps because they can go the wrong way very fast. And sometimes when I scalp and I'm trying to put the stop loss, it already went to the stopping point. So that's not my strategy at all. Hold on. Let me cover.
Yeah, you're short. You're looking at your short, aren't you?
Yeah, hold on. Let me cover this short.
Is it in the green right now?
Yeah, very.
Because I'm watching the SPY. It's rolling over. I was wondering. I'm like, I want to ask him about the trade. So walk us through it. Are you covering a portion? What's going on right now? Because the SPY is tanking right now.
I covered the whole position because it met my target. I did $540 in profit right now.
Well, why did you cover the entire position? Why didn't you let some of it ride? What happens if this thing keeps tanking?
I let it tank.
What happens if it tanks more?
My plan was to get out there. I don't do partial fills.
Why not?
With me.
Why not?
I'm not sure. I haven't tried that yet. But
you've come to webinars, haven't you?
No, not yet. Because
live. You have an official assignment. You better start watching some webinars because if this thing keeps on tanking, you are going to kick yourself for, wait, why did I sell everything? So I'll just leave it at that. Go back in the archives, watch some webinars. You have
good trade regardless. Good trade.
Good trade regardless, but it could be better. There's a few little mechanical things that you got to work on, it sounds like.
Yeah. I've watched some webinars. I've watched like 20 of them, but I cannot attend them because at the time of the webinar, I am attending to school at the same time Tuesdays. But I'm in my last 3 months of school, so after that I'm going to attend to all of the webinars. But if I stop going to school, I won't be able to get the diploma.
No, definitely keep going to school, get that diploma. But all the webinars are recorded, so they're in the archives. But I'd say go back and do a little research into trade management because from what you described, you didn't quite play this one. It was a good trade, like Jess said, regardless. So I'm not trying to kick you when you're down, but right, Ches, there's a few little things. We're not gonna give that away for free, but there's a few things you could have done.
Yeah, there's a few things, and there's a ton of webinars, like I said, that strictly kind of cover that. So, yep, well, obviously you're going through school, and whatever you do not stop doing that. You're so close to the end. Obviously, go and do that because it'll always benefit you in life. But yeah, you know what I like to hear as well, Clay, is that he didn't say, since my trading has been successful, I dropped out of school, I'm going to buy a laptop and trade on the beach. He's actually going to finish his schooling. He's going to open a business. I mean, he's just got the entrepreneurial spirit, and I think it's awesome. I love to see it.
Yeah, no, that's great.
I mean,
see, Darth, look at it now, man. It's tanking, dude. It's tanking. You could still be in there. You could still be in there. That's what I'm talking about. So, anyways, oh man. But the good news is, they're little small tweaks. It's not like you have a massive mountain you got to climb up in order to fix this little issue. It's just a matter of, and I'm just watching it tank. I should probably take it. Are you watching too, Ches? SPY? Yeah.
Of course I'm watching. I've been trading oil this whole podcast, but I just never admit that out loud.
Yeah. So, but there it goes, Darth. There she goes. Oh,
my God.
Well, this is a good lead in here. So strengths and weaknesses. I'll mention one weakness for you, but I just something that you want to improve on. So trade management is something that you need to improve on. But what are some things that you think you actually do very well as a trader?
Okay, so as a trader, what I do well, I know how to identify very good the shorts. I have a photographed memory of the chart patterns when they are gonna go short, like the bearish engulfment and all of those. Another strength I have is that it's a good question.
I'll give you, since I gave you a weakness, I'm also going to give you a strength. You were very patient. During the course of this call, we had a technical issue where Ches had to do something. So Darth and I were just talking about that trade, and he said, my short position's not looking very good. You know, it's not going well. And I just said, what did I tell you, Darth? I said, as long as you had a stop in at that point, you're good. And you did have a stop in at that point. Is that right?
Yeah, I had a stop, but actually the patience thing was my biggest weakness, and I'm starting to handle it. So
yeah, and so that's exactly what I observed, because I specifically remember and looking at the chart thinking, yeah, you know what, you might get stopped out. It might not be, maybe you were wrong, but you gave it patience. You let your trade plan work out, and hey, you turned out to be right, and you made, what'd you say, $540 on it. So. Yeah. I did kick you when you're down when, you got some things to work on trade management, but hey, patience, I definitely observed, you're working on it, and you're clearly doing very, very well with it. Cause I mean, if you would have just hopped out cause you weren't patient enough, man, you'd really be kicking yourself right now. So, well done in that regard. Ches, given that you own the piece of equipment, I figure I should probably let you ask this question.
So I got to calculate the shipping. It'll probably be pretty high, but I can still make it work for a podcast guest always. So, Darth, if I was to lend you my time machine and you could go back to pretty much right when you started trading, what is one piece of advice you would give yourself?
Okay, can it be more than one piece of advice?
Oh yeah, any.
It could be a conversation. You get a whole day with yourself to kind of just sit down and give yourself some knowledge.
Okay, the first thing is to never give up, because this business is very hard, and especially hard for people who are not prepared for the toughness it involves, the psychology. So never give up. Number two, never stop studying. I mean, I wasn't a guy who studied a lot because I thought that I was very smart, but that was very wrong. The more I've learned, the more I've realized that I have much more to learn. I mean, each month I'm reading at least 2 books regarding the markets, and I'm watching all of the information I can get, all of the insights. I talk with traders every day, and I ask them for losers, because I like to focus more on losers than on winners. And never stop trying. If you find what your passion is, you should pursue it, regarding if it's the market or not. And also another advice would be, and it was very, it was illuminating when I found out that the market is always going to be there. Don't force the trades. I mean, if you force a trade, 9 out of 10 times it would go the wrong way. Just let it go, search for another trade, and don't force it. The market will always be there. It was years before me, and it would be years after me. And so that was like the point where when things changed, when I started to be patient and working on my discipline and my emotions and not trying to rush stuff. I noticed that a lot of people want to get in the business to make fast money, but that's just an illusion. You gotta study, you gotta work hard, you gotta suffer, and then things will start to work out. But that mentality of making money fast, it's just nonsense. And thank God I learned that at my age and not later in my life.
Yeah, Ches, do you have a tissue over there? My eyes are getting a little wet over here. If that's not motivating,
I know.
I'm ready to go tackle somebody. If my wife comes in the door right now, she's getting tackled because my adrenaline.
She's gonna get taken out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I hope one of my kids don't come in because that's not going to be a fair fighter at all. But woo, that's some good stuff there. So well said, and nothing really needs to be said with that. So let's move into the fun questions. Darth, what is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie. Wow. The third movie of Batman is quite amazing, man.
That is a good one with Dark
Knight Rises.
Yeah, well, who's the bad guy? Bane, right? Yeah, there we go.
It was very spiritual for me, that movie.
Nice.
Also, I like American Psycho.
There you go. Yeah, there's a classic for you too. Very cool.
It sounds like you just like Christian Bale, is what I'm gathering from this.
Yeah, and The Big Short as well. He's my favorite actor.
There you go. That would make sense then. So what would you say is your favorite meal and dessert?
My favorite. I don't like dessert because I hate sugar and sweet stuff. But maybe something with Nutella. That's the only sweet thing I like. And my favorite meal would be pasta carbonara or a nice cheese bacon hamburger.
Nice. Both of those sound good. But I really wish I had that problem to not like sugar. That would be a great problem to have.
I wish I had that problem as well.
Yeah.
It gives me headaches when I eat sugar, so I can't eat a lot of sugar.
I wish I could have induced headaches so that I wouldn't like sugar as much as I do. But yeah.
Definitely, I'm jealous in that regard for sure. What about hobbies? What do you like to do outside of the market?
Okay, outside of the market, I'm a massive Manchester City fan. I have the first Manchester City Latin America Facebook page made, and I have around 7,200 fans. In the Facebook page, I play soccer with my friends every Wednesday, and I love to read. I play with my dog. I have a beautiful girlfriend. We've been together 3 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And and I like running. That was like my hobby when I was younger. I was trying to be a professional athlete, but I had to get some surgery and I didn't get it. So now I only jog at the gym, and yeah.
So did you hear this, Clay? Not only does he not like sugar, he likes running.
Running, yeah.
These are just two things that
I hate you, Darth. I never want to speak to you again. I got nothing. That's you're irritating me right now.
You love to run and hate how sugar. Awesome you are.
Yeah.
I'm not so fit though. I'm 10 pounds overweight right now because I don't like sugar, but I do like to eat.
That's okay. You could run it off, whereas me and Clay, we just hate running in general, so we can't run it off. We got to figure out other ways. But besides the point, before we go on a real tangent here, what would you say 3 words you would associate with successful trading?
Failure, persistence, and I don't know if I can say it in the way I want to say it, but the other word is guts.
Oh, no, that makes perfect sense. But did you say failure?
Yeah, failure is the key for being successful.
Yeah, can you explain that a little bit more? Because my mind could be blown here in a second. We'll see. So, can you?
So, I'm gonna try to express it the best way I can. But a lot of masters at trading have failed much more times than what other people. No, I don't know how to say it philosophically, but like. When you fail, you learn what you did wrong, and you learn from your mistakes. This is the phrase. A lot of people that are very good at the market had failed so many times and never given up, and they've failed so much more times than people who just quit. And failure is the best teacher. Every loss, think of it as market tuition. Every loss, you paid for your lesson, and you got to move on from that. Everyone that has been successful in life has failed so many times, and they have failed at least 7 or 8 times more than what I have done before they learned the lesson. So failure is key for you to succeed in this business.
I love it. You're absolutely right. Just a little more context, though. For those of you listening, you say, well, that's great. Yeah, failure. So therefore, I'm just going to sign up for one of those alert, buy and sell services because, failure is okay. And if I fail in that way, well, then that's just part of No, be smart with your failure. You have been warned that doesn't work. So that does not justify you to go and, treat the market like a casino. Take what you've learned, especially when it's free stuff like these podcasts. Don't go and be, wasting money on stuff like that. But I get the spirit of what you're saying because you're absolutely right. Even with Clay Trading University, even with our chat room, you're still going to have failures. You're still going to have losing trades. That's just part of the market. And you got to, like you said, learn from it. And, iron sharpens iron, and each kind of loss is, just your iron getting sharper and sharper. So well said. And I get that. We'll definitely have to have you back at some point because this was a great time. And I got a rant at you a little bit when I was, discussing getting you on here. Oh, English is not my first language and blah, blah, blah. You probably speak better English than I do. So that was just such a terrible excuse on your part. So to you, I commend you on your second language. I would never have guessed that, you weren't just, your English is great. So well done in that regard.
Thanks. Yeah.
And
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, that sometimes I lack confidence in myself, but it's something I'm working on because the markets can be very humbling, and I'm not a humble guy at all. So it's a working process that I have to work in my confidence in the markets because it's a whole other world. And also a phrase I would like to say to everyone in this podcast is that they have to work hard, because this is my favorite phrase. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't want to work hard. That's one
of my favorite sayings too. That's a great one.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true. And yeah, we've gone over quite a bit of time here. So, but like I said, we'll definitely have to have you back. And thank you again for taking time out of your day. Congratulations on your trade. You got some things to work on with that, but hey, talking with us and making $540, I'd say it was a good hour's worth of your time spent. So thanks again, Darth, for hanging out.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I would love to be here at another occasion, and I have to thank you for your education service.
Well, you are welcome, but you are definitely the one putting in the hard work. So go look in the mirror and pat yourself on the back for a job well done. For you listeners out there, a few things before we part ways. If you're listening on YouTube, check out the channel. There's many other videos on the channel other than these podcasts, live trade videos, quick tip videos, all sorts of stuff. So check out the channel. Hopefully you ultimately decide to subscribe. If you're listening on iTunes or any of the other podcast players, leave us a rating. Little things like that, especially on iTunes, help bump up the rankings and all that and get us more eyeballs, and just little things like that. Ches and I really do appreciate. And then finally, if you're on claytrader.com and listening to this, click that share button, leave us a comment. We will read those. We will reply to them. And, we really appreciate all those little things. So thank you again to all you viewers. Thank you to Darth. We will see everybody back next week.
This has been the Stock Trading Reality Podcast. Thanks for taking the time to hang out. To learn more about Clay and the Clay Trader community, including the trading team, premium training, and more, visit claytrader.com.